Hello, hello. Welcome. Just getting things set up and waking up.
Hi, AJ.
See, am I coming through? Yes, I am. Hey, guys.
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, I'll shut down then because I got Dr. Phil in the background. No one wants to hear him besides me.
Okay, well, I guess we're go ahead and get started here. So, welcome everyone to this week's Geek Weekly meetup. The goal of Geek Weekly and Science Space is to connect people who share interests in all things geeky, and to build a community around that here in localhost. Feel free to join in the discussion and voice, as well as in chat. And if you'd like to be involved here in the community, feel free to chat with me after the meeting. We also have a website where we post the Geek Weekly review, host a calendar, and link to our Discord server. As things grow here, we'll also expand our website with additional information and functionality. So the agenda for today's meetup includes some introductions, discussion of some interesting news articles, state of the viewer, which will pass out some links to the to-be viewer for those who are interested, geek trivia, show and tell, some general conversation, and a field trip after our hour is up. So, let's see, I'll paste that. There you go. So, also, hello everyone. So let's start off with some introductions. If you are talking in voice, just say your science-based name, and in chat or voice, your geographic location and what some of your geeky interests are. I'm Karsten Stark. Of course, I'm totally into sci-fi, and I do computer programming and all sorts of other things like that. Lots of gaming and stuff. So I'll let someone else go.
Hello, everyone. I am Chevron7. I am located somewhere within the inner solar system. I'm not going to be any more specific than that. As you can, if you can tell from my name, I am a Stargate fan. I'm also a fan of Star Trek, Star Wars, other things with star in the title, I guess, but not Battlestar Galactica for some reason. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. Looks like we have a sidearm trying to join the region. So how about, yep, there's Futurist, aka Peter. He's in the burbs north of that great den of iniquity known as New York City. He's a programming languages geek. It's awesome. And a lawyer in real life. Cool. Cool. Let's see. LT Drake over there standing against the wall is just our cameraman. He's into standing there looking like a NPC. And how about you, Discordant? What kind of geeky things are you into? Oh, there she goes. Discord. She's a tech student in programming and an amusement park fanatic. Cool. Fantastic. Artemis is telling us all we need to go to Evermore Park. There's Sidearm from Texas, and he's into pentatonic parallel music scales. Looks like people might be having the Monday morning internet blues this morning. Lots of disconnects and reconnects going on. So let's see if AJ is coming back in. Oh, can you hear us, AJ?
Yes, I can hear. I'm just not sure how long I'll be here.
So, what kind of geeky things are you into, AJ?
Hang on while I try to work my way in there. Currently, that's my interest, being able to directly focus my avatar's path to where I want her to go. Okay, I made it in. No, basically, probably most of my geekery is virtual worlds and reading. That is the strong focus. Plus, I have several reptiles. So that's where I tend to be.
Ah, cool. All right, so welcome everyone, and I guess we'll start out with some interesting news. The first one I came across this week, it was interesting, was that it was a question, could teleporting ever work? and here's a link. Anybody who's interested. And it was an interesting read because they're talking about how we might be able to build a teleporter like they use in Star Trek and all that, using like quantum entanglement, for reassembling people like atom by atom on the other side. But they're talking about how difficult that would be, how much data there is to rebuild a human being from scratch. And one of the things they were saying was that you're probably more likely to only transport just the brain or what makes the person, like the essence of that person, to the new body, and then 3D print everyone else. So we'd basically be running around in 3D printed bodies.
Yeah, I would want to, just like I wouldn't be the first to go to Mars, I would want them to figure this out first. I could be up for a 3D printed body if it looked just like me and there were no issues with it and it wasn't like the first gen. Oh, that's right. I don't think you've seen all of Altered Carbon, have you, Kirsten? Yeah.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting because like they would have these holidays and like I forget what holiday it was. Do you remember what holiday it was? They would like put their minds into like there was this one grandma who was put into a convict's body. They borrowed it. I think it was what was it like being re-sleeved or something? Yeah. So that was one of the things is someone passed away and I don't remember how it was, but they would bring them back somehow and put them into a body that was available. So a lot of times they were, bodies that were like one was a convict. And then like yeah, it was really awkward. And then there was one
Hello.
Hey, is that you, Chev?
No, it sounded like a sidearm to me.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, Coco Star. And welcome back, Sidearm. And hey there, Juby. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
I have somebody else coming in. I'll try to get back to you.
Okay.
I totally love the idea of transporting, but yeah, I mean, even in Star Trek, people didn't transport right away. It was always supplies and things like that, until they had it down.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yeah, with restrictions
Speaking
on
of
human cloning.
transporting, sorry, I was on 53 and it didn't work to come here, so I went back to when you get to the state of the platform. But the good thing is, in private message, you can PM each other while you're lost in TP limbo. This is Val, librarian here. If she starts to hear, she and I were here this week. I'm just introducing her in advance when she's able to speak. And sorry to interrupt. Back to you, Carson.
Cool. Welcome, Val.
Hey, Val.
Let's see. So yeah, I'm think I'm with Artemis. I don't think I'd be the first person through the transporter, especially if it's put me in a 3D printed body. Uh,
Yeah, any type of transporter technology that they've spoken about makes me really uneasy, whether it's moving my brain or shattering my body into all its individual atomic components and then reassembling them. That just seems like a situation rife for disaster. And I am not down for being that guinea pig.
yeah,
Plus,
for
it's going to
sure.
be hard to, get humans to think of themselves as being themselves without their original body. Like I'm pretty attached to the original.
Yes, well,
Although
abs-
you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say we even see that inside of virtual worlds. I mean, one of my problems is trying to, whichever world I'm in, is trying to make my avatar look close to who I see myself as mentally. Now, granted, again, the physicality isn't the same because I choose to not see myself with the middle-aged spread, but there are certain components that I like to have there. And I think that would happen, with the transporter with the 3D body, unless you had a strong correlation to how that person at least envisioned themselves. I think you'd have a pretty serious disconnect on the receiving end of the transporters.
Yeah, you know what? I just realized, I if you have a 3D body, you're not eating as much. You're only eating enough to fuel your brain, right? And you could probably take like patches of glucose or something,
Ooh,
right?
good
So
point.
like,
Yeah.
so then you could have a more populated planet or go travel to other planets and not need atmosphere really. You could just have some kind of a mask. I don't know. There's a lot of things to think about. Like you actually could do a lot more with a 3D printed body, and your lifespan would be a lot longer because then it would just be like degradation of the brain. So like older people, what we would consider older people, right? Not like now, but like maybe a few. I don't know how long a brain could last. A couple hundred years? I don't know. But they would all have dementia or some kind of a mental illness or something, right? So that would drastically change humanity.
I could just see this, uh, you know, having negatives too from like a capitalist point of view. The whole like, oh, you only have, you know, $10,000 to spend on a body. Well, I guess you're gonna get this junky, you know,
Well, that's how it is in
robot-looking
Altered
version.
Carbon. Because I think the company that makes the bodies in Altered Carbon, there's some kind of a stipulation where if you're in an accident and you need to be put into a different body, they just give you whatever body's available. So there was like a really young girl, I don't know, 10 years old, 8 years old, 12, something like that. And the parents came to pick her up. And she was put into this really old body. And they were like, what the hell? Well, but you get whatever body's there. And if you don't have the money to pay for a good body, you're not going to get your body recreated.
Yeah, pretty wild.
So are we talking about being downloaded in bodies or what?
We have this article here about asking the question if teleporting could ever work and some of the obstacles that would need to be overcome to actually transmit that much data and reassemble on the other side. And it was some interesting that what they were coming up with. Like maybe we only need to teleport the brain and we'll just 3D print a body on the other side.
And then talking about how 3D printing bodies would change humanity, not needing as much food, not needing the same kind of use for having to breathe oxygen. You just need to get something to the brain to sustain it, right?
There's some really interesting science fiction themes on that. The first one was, this was older. They invented it system that would TP you. And what it did is it destroyed your body at origin and reconstructed it from local matter at destination. And apparently, the Sufi religion was dead set against this. I don't know why Sufis would be dead set against it, but the neat thing was the technology brought in this whole issue of religion and soul. And the second key is a guy, John Varley. He wrote a bunch of short stories where instead of printing your body, you cloned it, but same difference. And so if you have a backup clone and your memory is stored at your last backup, and if you get killed, they bring out the clone with the new memory. Well, they have a whole legal structure. You're not allowed to have more than one clone alive at a time. So it made a wonderful mystery where the clone escaped being destroyed and decided to murder her original so she could take over her estate.
Wow.
Wow.
Would you, if they were, okay, so let's say they were using this for supplies, food, that kind of thing, I would definitely wear clone clothing, transported clothing, but would you eat the food? Here's the thing, is like, it's so easy to already get cancer, and that's just a few mutated cells. If you can't guarantee 100% replication, perfect replication, you're mutating cells. So like, it would have to be a 3D printed body. You're not going to be able to get a flesh and blood body back again because of the mutations. I can't imagine they do 100%. But then what if they do that? Well, actually, why are you even transporting food if you're not eating food anymore, right? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. So, another interesting bit of news that I was reading this week was about this star that just mysteriously disappeared. It says stars aren't supposed to go out like this. And it's the star 75 million light years away that they've been studying for 2 decades, and it just suddenly disappeared. And they were expecting it to blow up, be brighter than it was. So for it to just disappear, it was a little strange. But what they're thinking might have happened was that it gained enough mass to collapse into a black hole. And so they're finding this interesting, that it might be that stars can collapse into black holes before they explode. So there's some other theories that of what might be going on there too, but I think they're leaning towards the black hole theory for their primary reason.
Well, they are discovering there's a lot more black holes than they first realized. How big was the star? Because they must have had enough data on it that they weren't even expecting this thing to collapse, just expecting something else,
Let's see. It says that it shines a couple million times brighter than our sun. So it's a pretty bright star.
So this would be the first time they ever would have witnessed the birth of a black hole then, huh?
That could be.
Well, I don't know. The religious theme's coming up. Here's another cool science fiction story I read. Bottom line, this astronomer in the not too far distant future, studying novas and black holes and all that, got all disappointed and upset and weepy. And his best buddies were asking what happened. He said, I just figured out. And it turned out that the Star of Bethlehem was an entire civilization getting wiped out when their sun went nova.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Oh wow.
Well, isn't that based on some of the theories that they believe the star actually was. Like, what
Yeah,
did they say the star was?
I don't recall. I mean, what the author did that was clever, if a downer ending, was obviously tied into a civilization was around that star rather than it was one of the mostly empty stars that seem to be in the universe. But that's a good question, Artemis. I think there have been historical reports of bright things in the sky that people figured out later might have been nova or novae.
All I know is that as far as black holes go, our cat is like a black hole, like a super dense black hole. If he lays on the
Oh,
bed,
jeez, that's kilobyte.
like he's a 13-pound cat. Like how does he feel so dense and heavy?
But he's
I
a
have the
boy
opinion cats can totally change their body mass at will. That
cat.
I can't come up with anything else. We have one cat remaining in our house. We used to have three, and old age kind of took out the other two. But Bob, I swear, moves to this alternate cat dimension. We can go close to a day without seeing Bob or seeing any proof of his existence, and suddenly he'll pop up right in front of you, and you're like, "What the heck? Where have you been?" Cats are very strange animals.
Yeah, well, I've never had cats till I moved up here, but Karsten has these two cats I've kind of inherited, and one's named Kilobyte. They're both like named after digital things, Kilobyte and Pixel. But Kilobyte, in addition to that, they also have this weird ability to appear where you thought they were behind you in a different room, and suddenly they're in front of you in another room.
We
They
perhaps
have the
should explore
transporting
cats.
technology.
Yes, I was going to say we need to consult our feline components to get a little a little bead in on that transporter tech because cats clearly have it taken care of.
Yep. So, up next we had the article about the metals that they've been discovering on the moon lately, and they're saying moon mining could begin as early as 2025.
Well,
And
when you've got anything worth anything, the pirates will come soon after. Moon pirates, right?
yes, and yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Was all I can say is moon pirates. Just what was that movie? Ad Astra. I don't know if you've seen Ad Astra. That's pretty much the only good scene in that movie was when they're running from moon pirates.
And then, of course, you're going to have, and they're already sending tourists up into space, aren't they? There's going to be like a tourism function to this whole thing now, space.
Well, I think I've heard there have been plans for space tourism, but I've also heard that I think most of or all of those have been canceled, and so right now there's like nothing actually planned. So I don't know.
Ah, okay. You can tell everyone's ready to jump on the space tourism, though. All these private companies. I hope they're tracking Elon Musk's car, the Tesla that's flying around up there. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I don't think it's coming back, is it? It's going out into space to make first contact.
Well, I don't know. Did it break orbit? I thought it was just in a really oblong orbit or whatever. It shot past Mars and probably coming back later.
Oh, is it? I don't know. Well, that would be a huge tourist thing to catch it on the way back. Imagine that going into deep space, though, and being the first contact. I would more likely go to the moon once they have a colony set up than go to Mars. I would be okay with that if it had been up there a while and there was facilities and it was and they had the whole tourist thing going.
I'd probably agree with that because, from what I understand, the moon is within the Earth's magnetic field for 2/3 of its orbit. So, like, it's partially protected from, like, solar flares and things. Not as much as the surface of the Earth, but still, like, more than Mars, I thought. And also, it only takes, like, 3 days to get there, as opposed to whatever, 8 months for Mars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember what metals that they were finding on the surface of the craters? It was iron and something else.
Iron, titanium, and there was helium-3, was it?
Oh yeah, and the crust, yeah.
And those were all in the I don't know about the helium-3, but the iron and titanium were in the craters, the greater concentrations in the craters. So, I mean, that would be kind of handy, though, if that's the case, having your colony within a crater. That's even more protection, you would think.
Something else along with that, the metals that they're finding in the base of these craters was that they think the moon was created differently than how they originally were thought that it had been. This collision with Thea or whatever it was. I think either it happened at a different time when the Earth was covered in molten metals or something. I don't know. It's kind of finding this metal on the surface of the moon is having a lot of people scratching their heads about, oh shoot, this doesn't work for our theories.
No idea how there's no new theories on how the moon was created.
Well, yeah, there's lots of theories now, but I don't think anybody's in agreement yet. So, is anybody here into tabletop gaming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just when I was getting things set up this morning for our meetup, I noticed an email in my spam folder. I don't know why it was there, but apparently Gen Con is being held online this year, July 30th to August 2nd. And Gen Con is basically the home of tabletop gaming.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, and what's interesting, the email that I got for this was because I signed up to be notified about the Stargate RPG. And so this new Stargate RPG, Stargate SG-1 Phoenix, is being released or launched at Gen Con.
I can see why that would work because of Roll20. They could easily host all these games online.
Yeah, and so they're going to be releasing episodes of, I guess, what that would be like pre-made adventures or whatever, right? Like D&D. So they're releasing episodes for people to play through in a way that you can shape your own story based on how you make it through. And the RPG is based on D&D 5, the 5th edition rules. So there's some links for you guys if you're interested. I'm pretty excited about it.
I always play an archer or a healer.
Someone would usually end up just rolling a character for me because I was like, what is this? And they didn't have time to really show me how to play. And I was kind of like, I really don't get it anyway. So my character would inevitably die. And then I'd wander to the kitchen of whoever's house we were and grab some Doritos and sit there and watch them play. that was the extent of my tabletop gaming.
If you ever want to get into it, I don't think any of us are really all that expert at it. And I don't think any of us have really been a DM. I'm trying to learn, but I wouldn't say I'm good. But they have this way of playing D&D where everyone takes a turn playing DM, and it kind of goes around the table every other session or so, and just pick up like a round robin. I thought that was interesting.
That's probably a good thing because I think it's really hard to find someone who wants to DM. Or those, good DMs are few and far between, and maybe if you spread it out among a bunch of different people, it's not quite as burdensome, perhaps, because I know you have to work out campaigns and all sorts of stuff. I know things secondhand. I listen to a lot of friends who are tabletop gamers, and I just sit there like, y'all are really intense.
Yeah.
and and I will admit a lot of it is due to my own lack of understanding, which apparently I've carried out for well over 30 years. But it's something that's interesting, and I know folks really enjoy it. So there's got to be a lot to recommend it, is all I can figure. I just haven't found it yet.
Well, I kind of wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind playing again because I notice maybe it's only because I've only played with younger people and they tend to just want to destroy everything. I would actually like to play where you're trying to solve whatever it is in a really unusual way, not resorting to my weapons all the time. That would be interesting. And exploration.
Yeah, exploration and problem solving might be good. Rather than hacking everything up into tiny little bloody bits.
Yeah, because you get so many skills and they're hardly ever used,
Good point.
Yeah, so I saw everyone was talking a little bit about the viewer earlier. So the current state of the viewer, as I've discovered, was the current staging viewer appears as 2B53, but if you actually download the manual download, you get 2B54. And right now I haven't noticed any difference between 2B54 and 2B53. But except for they both have broke browser services. So
Is it really all that different from TV49 or whatever it is I'm on? I haven't been keeping up.
I haven't really noticed any difference in the 2B viewer since 2B52, which the current preview viewer is 2B52. So I think Gabby mentioned that there's some added stuff in the 2B53, 54 that for something specific that she built. So
Oh, okay. I guess I better get with it, huh?
it's not released yet, though, as far as I know.
If it has to do with something Gabby put together, I want in on that because Gabby's got some good creation skills.
Yeah,
and it probably
she
has to do
does.
with clothes or hair or something, and that is so my
Yeah.
focus.
I'm so glad she's here.
I am too. She's got a real talent, and it's really enjoyable seeing what she's been able to come up with.
And she's working really hard behind the scenes. We had her in here the other day and was talking to her, and she's got lots of surprises. I can't really tell. Well, actually, she wasn't able to tell us everything either, right? But she's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty
regarding
psyched.
platform, a couple things. Like I said, I let me rewind a little bit. Speaking of Gabby and creations and events and so forth, you guys probably know this, that Mimi is having an event. I'm pretty sure AJ knows that she's having what I call a poodle skirt event on Wednesday at 7 Central. It's the Spiral event is now going to be the poodle skirt event at some kind of new build. And apparently she's been working with other designers to make poodle skirts and stuff. So I guess it's a 50s theme sock hop thing. So that's two reasons why that matters. A, it's our friend Mimi and Spiral trying to invent new events like Karsten and Armis do that are not just your normal, DJ music thing. Second, she's coordinating with makers to have stuff available ahead of time on the store, which makes AJ very happy, and Artemis. So that leads me to a story. Our friend Snowtracks, whose builds I love, had a 4th of July event and one of the red, white, and blue bathing suit contests. Well, I'm here to tell you there is no good red, white, and blue bathing suit on the store, and I got
Yeah.
into deep trouble trying to load some jacket that was blue that turned out, Carson will remember this, to be the blue jacket that crashed Mimi back 10 years. And
Oh no.
she remembered how it worked, and I went and reinstalled 1B44, came in and was able to ditch that outfit, and then reinstalled the latest viewer, which turned out to be 53, and thought I was in good shape. And then today it just blew up in my face. So now I'm on 50. So that blue jacket is still on the shop. I don't know how to get it removed. I don't feel like taking it on at the moment. File a support request to please remove the blue jacket. The purple one is okay, but the blue one crashes things. And all I could think of was, Kirsten, you have all the viewers. I will send you this jacket. Wouldn't you love to do a research project and see what release viewer where it suddenly, but that's just a bright idea I had. Now, whether I decide to go buy stuff for the poodle skirt event, at the moment, hell no. It's like I'm sticking with what I got at the moment. I feel blooded and bloodied. Took me 45 minutes, and I kind of yelled at Snow Tracks. It wasn't his fault. And I got a red bikini, and I came in there and said, "This is it, buddy." So much for that. And nobody else had anything that was a red, blue, and white. The only closest was Lisa, the DJ, and she had like a red halter, white shorts, and blue stockings, which I admit was a good solution. That was a good solution.
So, do you recall at this 4th of July party seeing a newbie there called Viewed Toaster?
I don't. Say more.
Well, if you see Viewed Toaster, that's my son down in Las Vegas. He came in and didn't really tell me about it. He just kind of surprised me, and we saw pictures of him posted on Mimi's site on Facebook. Like, oh my God, that's my son. It can't be anyone but my son. So we made sure it was. I called him up. And yeah, apparently he's in World. So now I'm trying to get my dad in here and make it a whole thing. And I think Karsten got his sister in here, and your nephew was in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get his dad in here too, because he's making some kind of a game that's interactive. And I don't know if I don't know if I could say much about that yet. I don't know how much said. But anyways, yeah, it'd be cool to have family in here. I never had family in Second Life, but maybe it had to do with all the sex and escort stuff. I couldn't bring my dad and my son in, but here I can.
That sounds neat. I keep wanting to ask you, if you don't mind, how old is your son?
Well, he's 21 now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's neat. A friend of mine I was on the phone with this morning as a 24-year-old visiting. He was like on the way out the door with the car keys, and my friend was admonishing him to drive safely, and I like flashed back to my memories of my son being that age.
Well, he's really into the sci-fi stuff, which is kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to bring him in. I knew he'd like this place, and we're trying to draw him in here. And I think it's working because he joined Mimi's Facebook site, so I don't know. We'll see.
Well, get some 20-something-year-old girls here.
Well, that would probably... He's got a girlfriend. Have to get her in here.
Well, that's a good point. If she got in here, she would probably bring girlfriends, and then that would bring more boys. And I think you've hit on a plan there.
My son is a bit of a recluse, like a lot of us are, and so is his girlfriend. They're like the two of them. They're their entire world.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to set up a dating game event.
Wouldn't mind
Oh,
playing a version of the Newlywed Game.
Yeah.
that's a cute idea. That's a great idea. And you don't have to code it. You have to code it. You have to write the questions and all that, but that would be awesome. That I could see that being a cool event. Now all I have to do is find all the newlyweds in Science Space or the about to be
Yeah, right.
newlyweds. Tell you, AJ and Sin would be fun. What do they not know about each other, or questions like that, something like that.
Well,
And
I was going to say we're not newlyweds anymore, so we don't even count.
So then you know, with that much time to get to know each other, you're supposed to like ace all the questions, right?
No. We still find out new stuff about each other, and we still sometimes go, "What? Really?
That's awesome.
You sure about that?"
Alright, so if got anything else, there's some trivia coming up. Alright, so I'll just start off with 1980s video games. Okay, so created by the animator Don Bluth, what Laserdisc-based arcade game was released in 1983? It's a hard one. The answer is always back.
Was this? Oh man. Uh. Is it the one with that? It was a cartoonish game with going through the scenes, and if you didn't get things just right, you had to keep repeating the scene over and over again, like medievalish. Oh, I wish I remember the name of it. I want to say Prince something, but no, I don't think it is that. Am I right? What is it?
I think I might have stumped everyone. Alright, so this one is Dragon Slayer. The Animers company would also release Dragon Slayer 2 and Space Ace using similar technology.
Wow.
That was definitely a hard one. I had no idea.
You guys seen laser discs? The old ones? They're like as big as an LP record. I mean, like
Yeah.
12 or
Yeah.
14. And the players are huge. My father-in-law experimented using those for science teaching, and entire science courses were on those, and they'd play them onto the big TV on the rack, like the old days in schools.
Yep,
Pretty interesting.
That's where I remember them from. I was in elementary school, and they would wheel that thing into the room with TV on a rack with this big old laser disc player on there. And we'd get like maybe 30 minutes into something, you'd have to flip the disc over. They didn't seem to hold a whole lot for how big they were.
I still think I'm right. I think this is the guy, because he was a prince, wasn't he, or something? And he had a big jaw, and he looked really heroic, the way they do in cartoons when you're doing super heroic looking characters, like jocks that turned into adventurers. And he had that like do 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 kind of a voice, right?
The really classic science education thing is a set of songs that he had literally on an LP that he taught my wife and her siblings. Oh, the sun is a mass of incandescent gas, gigantic nuclear furnace, where hydrogen turns into helium at a temperature of millions of degrees.
That's awesome that you still remember the words.
And they can sing it to this day, and it's still current science.
That is a song that that Leonard Nimoy should have sang instead of, well, I think he did like Lord of the Rings going to the Shire type songs. I could see him doing that one that you just sang.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, what creature did Gandalf say could not pass?
The Balrog.
Yeah, you got
Yes.
it. Paste. There we go. The Balrog.
I got to maintain my reputation, you know.
Let's see. Next up, Star Trek, the original series. The Enterprise's two main weapons are what?
Phasers and photon torpedoes?
You got it.
Yeah, wow.
Phasers and photon torpedoes.
I claim that menopause is making my brain fuzzy.
It's not all in your head. It totally is, because that's my
Yeah.
excuse too. Absolutely.
Kamikaze shuttlecraft pilots. Let's see. In Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers was introduced as the love interest to which hero?
Oh man, your Captain Marvel stuff comes up. I should watch that movie because I don't know any of this stuff. Oh yeah. You're stumping us on the Captain Marvel.
Alright, well, the answer to that one would be Marvel. Marvel's first Captain Marvel.
Oh wow.
This next one will probably be another hard one. Let's see. In the Whedonverse, anything Joss Whedon, who said, well, as vampires go, you're pretty cuddly. Maybe you might want to think about mixing up the black on black a little, though.
Hmm. Black on black. Hmm. Well, this is either Buffy or Angel, right?
Character said that.
Yeah.
So I'm realizing just how long it's been since I've actually seen the Buffy and Angel shows. So yeah, like I have no idea. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, if nobody's got it, then throw the answer out there. It's Cordelia.
Oh, I should have just guessed that. Cordelia, everything.
So, in classic board games, what board game was turned into a movie starring Tim Curry, Christopher Lloyd, and Madeline Kahn?
Clue.
Yep, you got it. It's Clue.
Yes, I beat Chevron at something. Woo! It's the little things, y'all. Sorry, Chevron.
So, in Game of Thrones, Khal Drogo is a leader of what people?
Hmm. Yeah. I know they rode horses. Um, Gosh. Shows you how much I forget when I stop watching a show. Give us a hint. What does it start with?
D?
Is it the Dothraki? That's all I needed with the letter.
I should have known that. How did I not know that?
So, and talking about Khal Drogo, gives me the opportunity to. Whoop, I clicked the wrong link. Gives me an opportunity to introduce this meme to everyone. Hi, I'm Jason, and this is Momoa.
So stupid. Oh my god. Can you share that picture? Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
did.
posted in chat.
Oh my god, that is. It's so stupid, and I laugh every time.
Okay, so here's an interesting one. In Star Wars: A New Hope, which actor was not credited in the initial release of the film?
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good guess. You're not saying anything. Does that mean that it wasn't?
No,
I think that's right, actually. Isn't it?
I think so, because that was the guy we talked about last week. What was
Yeah,
his name?
Kenny Baker.
Oh, Kenny Baker. Yeah.
So do we give that to AJ then?
Nope. This is a different person.
Oh, is it
This
not?
is another
Okay.
person that wasn't. Did they not?
It wasn't. It wasn't
deny-
Kenny Baker.
Nope.
Huh. Oh, that's a good guess too.
Okay, so I had to look up who they were in the movie. Um, he did his he did the voice role for Darth Vader.
Oh,
James Earl Jones.
yeah.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, and so he asked to have his name omitted from the credits, and then it would later be added for the special release.
Did he think it was going to be a bomb?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Huh.
Random Joe.
Hey y'all,
Why would he-
desperate times call for desperate measures. I was just gonna pull everything out.
Just start listing all of the characters.
Yeah.
It's
Dog Skippy.
Yeah.
So in 1950 sci-fi, let's see, remade in 1978, what 1956 film gave rise to the term pod people?
Twilight Zone? Or Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
Yep, got it. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And one last one in the field of physics. Who created the theory of relativity?
Albert Einstein.
Yep, you got
Ah.
it. Albert Einstein.
You like those Captain Marvel questions, though. I really like. When did that movie come out? I used to watch almost everything Marvel, and lately I haven't. I haven't even seen the ending to the latest the one with the glove guy. I didn't see how that one ended, and everyone just disappeared.
Yeah, I haven't watched hardly any of them. So, there's some show and tell. Is anybody working on anything cool? It doesn't have to be science-based related. Could be real world or virtual. Feel free to share, and then also if there's any cool places you've discovered here in Science Space. I'd love to hear about that too.
I haven't had a chance to work on anything in here. I'm intending to do a medieval region because I mean D&D, of course. Like as soon as we build that, we could start doing D&D. But I've been busy with real life stuff with my massage therapy networking, and there was a summit which was like 10 days. So I'm kind of like just coming down from that. Networking really does you in.
There is a 30-minute snippet if you want to click the YouTube link. It's 30 minutes, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. That's what I've been working on, part of a series. I invite you to click it now.
All right. Thanks for coming, Chevron. Take care.
Yep. See you later.
Oh, that's interesting. I just got it to load on YouTube. It reminds me of the gamma squares where you're trying to like. I really like that how simple the shapes are, but I don't know why I like making my gamma adjusting gamma on my screen. The monitor adjustments is what it reminds me of.
Cool. It's called Magic Music Visualizer. I wrote the music, and I've been learning how to use the little built-in modules to make the different shapes brighten or move, etc.
That would be really interesting to see in a club here. Usually the only kind of visualizations I see are what's his name? Amy and Spies things, which are more 70-ish.
Well, the ones I usually have seen are waveforms, and they're responsive waveforms, so that's okay, but they're kind of boring to me now. And then there are, I just forgot what it was. Weird spacey starfield things and so forth. Oh, MIDI piano roll. You know what a piano roll is? Where it scrolls from right to left, and you see the colored images go up and down based on the note. And then if you have 3, 4, 5, 7 parts, every one of them shows their own separate color moving up and down. It's really neat. but that's been around a long time as well. There's a guy, S. Malin, or his initials, but he actually has free MIDI visualization software that I've used. But this visualizer thing is different because it has all kinds of intricate little gadgets that you hook together like an electronic circuit board on the table, connecting module 1 to module 2. It reminds me of some programming interfaces that Karsten probably knows more about than I do. But it's cool because it sounds and seeing the sounds is what I'm interested in. And hearing them, obviously.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's neat. Something I've been working on. I didn't get to work on it this last week, but so slowly when I have time, is optimizing this region a bit. I'm rebuilding the localhost connection building here as a single unit, and trying to integrate some of the neon tubes from upstairs and stuff like that, so it shouldn't take so much resources to load in all the furniture items. I'm gonna probably pull some of the videos out of the signs out there and load them from our website instead of being integrated in the region. Things like that.
That just gave me an idea. Like, we should be every week, like it says now, less than 172 megabytes. Every week we should track localhost region usage and track it up and down with your latest features added. Whatever. That would be cool. Kind of a live action. I think it's always more interesting to learn stuff by applying what we know, and then seeing how it turns out, and then tweaking it, and then seeing how that turns out. And one way to see how it turns out is to just follow the numbers week to week. So anyway, nobody did that for the last 2 months. So all that data's gone, unless there's magic way how to find out what your region was historically. I was mumbling today, stuck in TP hell, saying, "I bet Garston troubled the city behind our back since last week, and that's why I'm stuck here."
No, that seemed like maybe there's some internet problems kind of in your region or something, because several people were dropping in and out. But like us up here, we've had a pretty solid connection all morning. So I don't.
Well, you're also doing some stuff in the background to kind of optimize the region, like rebuilding the buildings. You're going to redo all the neon, so we don't have to have that done in World, right? Which should help, like, lessen the load time.
Yep. But none of that's uploaded yet. Still working on it.
So I'm interested in reading Gabby's chat. Gabby says she's using Euro 53. And then, Carson, you said that if you install from the regular preview, it says 54, but it's really 53. I mean, how do we get what Gabby's got? Or just go to the latest link?
Yeah, there's 2B54 now, although it still shows up as 2B53 on the staging page. They uploaded the file but didn't update the text. So if you do the manual download from staging, you'll get 2B.
If I do a manual download from staging, I'll get which one?
2B54.
Okay, and
although it's weird, the zip file and everything still says 2B53, but when you actually run it, it says 2B50.
Yeah, Gabby, I've got that link, but you missed out on the story on what happened to me between the last week. I had a literal wardrobe malfunction that put my viewer into a permanent reloading loop, and I had to drop back to 1B44 and try reinstalling thingies, and right now I'm a little new viewer version shy, so I'm looking for Karsten to soothe me. Soothe you I will, Karsten says. Soothe you I will. That's what that's about. Oh, Gabby, are you going to the 50 sock hop thing? Mimi's thing? Have you put anything on the shop for that I should look for? Wednesday, I mean. Oh. Mimi and Spiral have I call it the poodle skirt event on Wednesday at a diner build. And I was wondering if you'd put any items, 50s related, on the store that AJ and I could look for to buy. Okay, I'm going to talk slowly. So, Gabby, can you hear me okay? This is about fashion and fashion-themed events. Right. My request is that you guys coordinate. What happened is Snowtrax announced a bathing suit contest, and there are no good bathing suits for the 4th of July. What he should have done was tell makers whatever lead time you need, like 2 weeks, to get something up there. Because what I tried to assemble from what was on the shop crashed my viewer. And Karsten knows what that is. So, and then Mimi seems to be very waiting till the last minute to explain what the event is. So people like me need a week's notice to look, shop, buy stuff, mess around with it, because we're not very experienced and we want to support these themed events and themed creations, but not have viewer wardrobe crash malfunctions at the last minute, which killed me attending the first 45 minutes of the actual event. So lots of lead time, not 2 years. Well, if you did make a bathing suit, I never found it. Oh, there you go. Well, that explains that. Well, I'm glad you are working on it. Inquisitive, if you don't know this by now, there is no nude in Sciencebase. You can't get out of outfit without wearing something on both parts of your body. So anyway. Of course it makes sense. Put it up there. That's plenty of lead time. God only knows whatever the next patriotic holiday is. They keep sneaking up on me. Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 4th of July, Flag Day. All of those would work. And anytime somebody feels like it. Oh, 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 Gabby, Canada Day. Do you have a Canada flag suit? Be sure to do that, because we had Canada Day also. And anything that Jamie wants to do, I go to support Jamie's events too. Yeah. In fact, you should probably have a flag for every occasion, Gabby, like a UK flag. Who else? A French flag for Jay's wife. Oh, thank you. So the whole flags thing, I think, will take off, Gabby. Seriously, I'm not that fashion. AJ, back me up here. Would flag bathing suits be a thing for the different countries?
I don't know, Sight. I have no clue.
Gee, thank you so much for the backup. Bite me.
Sorry.
Use your favorite expression. Bite me, AJ.
I will never live down that term, ever. Yes, bite me, Sight. Right.
Let's see. Are there any other countries, Karsten, or Discord? Discordant, are you're US, aren't you? Well, I understand. That's why you need lead time, Gabby. That's why a week or two is not enough lead time. Australia. Yes, Australia. And that's such an attractive flag. You heard it here, guy. Carson, you need to do a key discussion topic, country-themed bathing suits for all occasions. And Australia, UK, Canada, and La France. Those are all I can think of. Oh, I guess China, but nobody wants to wear a China suit unless Adam. We might get Adam here. Oh my God, Gabby, you'd have to make men's and women's. If I don't know if you're into that or not, so never mind. I mean, I get what you're saying. You're busy enough. You don't need more ideas, but it really, because reasons, it really came to be a hot button this week about why were there Canada things and why were there US things, and there's a big blow up amongst a couple people about this. All right, men's are included. Excellent. Then Karsten could show up in a Speedo, a US flag Speedo. He'd look great. And then Artemis could wear a U.S. flag bikini set, and you guys would rock. Okay, Carson, you can wear the bikini if you'd rather. That's okay. Any other flag ideas, Carson? You know a lot of people, the makers, and Gabby, you know a lot of the makers, and Juby, you are coming up with excellent suggestions. So. Well, it wasn't so much patriotism, Discord. It was like having a theme. To me, a theme, and I used to work in Second Life with my theme where I worked was Dublin in Second Life and the Blarney Stone, the best Irish bar in virtual reality. So everything was Irish. The stream was Irish between events. That's when I learned about U2. I'm not kidding. I didn't know the band U2. And Green and Shamrocks and Leprechauns and the whole Ireland thing. But in the end, you know why people came? Yes, thank you, AJ. You know why AJ came into Second Life? Because she heard about Dublin. There was something called Dublin in Second Life. She said, I'm going to check it out. The people. That's what AJ. You win 5 gold stars. They come to talk to people. Maybe hear some music, have a good conversation, and if it's a well-run joint, the staff keeps things, to shape. So the theme is just an excuse to get together. And Carson, good point. Carson just said have a jacket with flag patches. Oh my God, customizable flag patches. Got it, Gabby. Oh, okay. So it's not a single piece of clothing that has a flag look. Got it. Gotcha. So anyway, Discord, that was my point was, I mean, I went to Canada Day and I'm not from Canada, okay? It wasn't because I wanted to celebrate Canada so much. It was because Jamie wanted to have a Canada Day event. So cool. Well, as we all know, Carson was in a bike club and bikers wear jackets with flags on them. So maybe Gabby make the jacket and Carson will make the bike.
Testing. Testing. There we go.
We can hear you.
Yeah, the bike is on my list of things to build. I have this huge list. I don't know if I'll ever get to very much of it.
Does anybody know what rockabilly means?
I'm going to look it up on Google. So I'd say anything, I posted the definition that I found on Google, and I'd say anything combining themes of both country and 1950s aesthetic would probably work.
I think 50s will work then, because it's the look. And I mean, maybe you throw a cowboy hat on top of a leather jacket, but other than that, we might even, well, that's tomorrow night, so that's pretty short notice, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the YouTube stream. If it hasn't crashed already. Yeah, feel
Well,
free to hang out and chat some more if you want. Or we
I
can.
have one question. One question for
Mhm.
you. If Val had been able to stay here, I was going to ask her to share. She has a compendium of virtual platforms. In other words, she has a Google Docs spreadsheet. And for each of the platforms, they list what she calls office hours. And the idea is that for every platform that she's aware of, I think she's up to 12 now, that if somebody wants to check out ScienceSpace, that they could come in on a certain day at a certain 1 hour period, a certain location, and there would be someone there they could talk to about ScienceSpace and ask questions. So what she was going to ask you was if you wanted to set a day and a time. Now, localhost would not meeting, the Geek Weekly would not be a good time having an event. But would you be interested in having 1 hour a day where you are just make sure you're here at localhost, and she can add it to the spreadsheet, and I can give you the link. I'll send you an email address, and then she can tell people, hey, there's a ScienceSpace contact. His name is Karsten Stark, and this is the hour that he will be there each week. Interested? Yes, no, maybe? You can tell me later.
I don't know. My gut reaction would be probably not, just because I'm already tied up with a lot of stuff.
Well, I brought it up
we
because you keep saying the purpose of localhost is because you guys are always online and working, and
Mhm.
so. But that's a fair answer. So I'll say I won't even bring it up with her. We'll just let it die. Let it die. Or Juby, you might, if you're interested. I mean, the point is, the person picks the time. For example, I said, okay, I'll volunteer to be the Verbella office hours because I go to office hour every Friday. I mean, I go to social hour every Friday, and so does Inc. We meet interesting people. So just put me down for that. And yeah, exactly, Juby. So that's the idea. So I'm just sharing it with you. And the project is what I literally call it, a compendium of platforms. And I'm working with a couple people on this. And anyway, good, clear answer. Thank you. I got to go.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, when I'm just kind of hanging out here, it's just kind of socialize as I'm working. But if I have to like concentrate on explaining things and walking people through stuff and everything, that's gonna take me away from what I'm working on.
No, I
You
get
know
it.
what I mean?
I get it. We
But
already
if
crossed
I
that
just
off the
want to
list.
come hang out, then that would be easy enough. But
No, I would not be newbies. It would be people investigating the platform and whether it's any good for their business or education purposes, and they want to ask somebody that knows a lot about it. But don't worry about it. It's not. It's it's kind of a new thing she started in the last month or so, and I'm just trying to support her with it.
okay.